Hello buddy, Insane Frame here and welcome to another video. In the last video we did Can You Beat Fallout 4 with a double-barreled shotgun. It was fun and interesting, so in this video we'll be going back to Fallout 3 and asking, can you beat Fallout 3 with the legendary pool cue, The Break? A friend of mine by the name VNG Gaming attempted this challenge in Fallout 4. It's a good watch, so I would recommend that video. And let's go ahead and explain why this challenge will be fairly difficult. Now, the Break as a pool cue is not the best weapon, but it can critically hit and has more item HP and does more base damage. However, it is still a very fragile weapon as it can break very easily, and our damage being very low means it's going to break pretty frequently. But for all said and done, let's explain the rules. We can only use the Break in battle. No glitches or exploits, no cheating or modding, and we're going to be playing on very hard difficulty. We're brought into this world and we choose to be a boy. We name ourselves Flapjack after a certain crewman on a whale. Then we have our dad who leaves us for a while, so we go to our special book and we get to decide our special stats. We go for 9 strength, 3 perception, 7 endurance, 1 charisma, 7 intelligence, 3 agility and 10 luck. We then have a party at 10 years old, and after our cake is destroyed, we get a BB gun. We shoot a red wedge and we get a nice family picture. We're then 16 and get our first important decision. We go against a martyr, and we also have a goat, and we apparently get to be the Vault tattoo artist. Apparently we're good at small guns, explosives and melee weapons. We go ahead and switch it up. We tag medicine, melee weapons and repair. The goat never fails to impress apparently. Once we are 19 years old, in-game, our martyr wakes us up and we hear the alarm going off. We grab everything off the table and decide to run through the vault as fast as possible, since we don't have a pool cue. We get the overseer keys from a chest of drawers and gain access to the overseer tunnel. Once we pass through, our martyr is upset with us, but we take our leave. Once outside, we level up, putting points into repair, medicine and melee weapons. We also get a perk and select intense training, using the extra stat points to increase our endurance to 8. Lovely. After running from a pair of super mutants, we get to Paradise Falls, and due to insulting a martyr, we can use the Karma option to walk right on in. We get a warm welcome and find the Break, our weapon of choice this run. We also buy some Raider Spike armor, which is okay starting armor, and it looks fairly interesting for sure. Now that we have a weapon and some armor, we decide to go to Megaton, and Lucas Sims decides to speak to us, but we make sure he follows us into a secluded area and take him out for the experience more than anything. Unfortunately, a person sees us and gets into the crossfire, but acceptable losses, I guess. We make our way into Lucas Sims' house and swipe the strength bobblehead, raising our strength to 10. We then head straight to Mr. Burke, who has a wonderful idea of blowing up Megaton to the ground and hands us a pulse charge, which kind of is giving deja vu vibes, but hey, it'll be fun. And since we're terrible with explosives, we decide to buy some of Leo's supply and then end him getting access to his stash, and also giving us some cats in the process, which is lovely. We go to a school overrun by some raiders, and once we knock some sense into them, we level up, gaining skills in explosives, melee and repair. For our perk, we go for intense training, upping our endurance to 9. We head back to Megaton and we begin eliminating everyone as their free XP, I guess, and Megaton is going up anyway, so why not? We make our way to Rivet City, and once we make it there, we also level up, putting points into melee weapons and repair. As for our perk, it's intense training yell again to get ourselves 10 endurance, which will help our HP troubles massively. We get to Rivet City, and then we go to the marketplace and upgrade our leather armor and get our Break repaired. We meet up with Dr. Madsen Lee in her science lab and manage to get the location of her previous lab, which is the Jefferson Memorial. We take out a few super mutants with the assistance of a friendly turret, thank you Mr. Turret, and with the super mutants down we get to the plant and find some audio logs. This gives us the location of our dad in Vault 112. With the location learnt, we get back to Megaton and do more villainous murder spree. However, we do level up in the process, which is good, and we put all of our points into melee weapons. And for our perk, we go for some perception with intense training. We also arm the bomb in Megaton, answering this child of Atomit's followers' prayers, and we make our way to Tenpenny Tower, and the ghoul at the gate is taken care of, and we are let in thanks to the person over the intercom. Once in Tenpenny Tower, we get to the penthouse and are let in by a guard, and we meet Mr. Burke, who's excited to say the least in kind of a creepy fashion. But anyway, we detonate the nuke, ending the town, and Mr. Burke is really happy. We get a sweet key for our troubles, which is excellent, and also get combat armor, so we're set. We decide to go to Vault 112, which is located beneath a Red Rocket garage, and we open the floor doors and descend into the vault. Once there, we are greeted by Robo-Brain, a odd fellow to say the least, but he gives us a vault suit to put on, and we comply and go into the simulation. Once in the simulation, we can't really do much, so we go and talk to Betty, who is really creepy, and we make sure to check the abandoned house out. We solve the puzzle in there to make a computer appear and activate the failsafe, which is the invasion protocol. Once activated, lots of forces invade and the simulation is ended, and we're free to go, much to Betty's dismay. We speak to our dad and he is surprised. However, he wants to resume the project he was working on, so we decide to go back to Rivet City, and he and Dr. Madison Lee are reunited as colleagues, so with the most scientists in our tow, we go back to the Jefferson Memorial to begin fixing the purifier. We also level up and put all of our points into repair, and as for our perk, we go for toughness, so we gain 10% damage resistance to all damage sources. We get to the purifier and our dad is now here. We get the pump and switch it on, we get some fuses, repair a circuit board, we get to the mainframe, switch it on, we get to the waste pipe, and the main antagonist of the game, the Enclave, show up to ruin everybody's day. How dare they? We ignore the Enclave for the most part and simply beeline for the purifier. Colonel Autumn tries to interfere, but our dad manages to annoy Autumn and tells us to run. We talk to Dr. Madison Lee and run to the underground tunnels. Once in the tunnels, we press on ahead without speaking to anyone, and we actually manage to clear out the vast majority of the tunnel with our pool cue, which actually does pretty good against the Enclave, and we even managed to nab some power armor with decent defenses. This will come in handy for sure. Dr. Lee then has the nerve to shout down the Brotherhood of Steel's intercom, which actually works surprisingly well. Elder Lyons thankfully welcomes us in and is a very generous fellow. He also allows us to have power armor training, and we go to Paladin Gunny and he gives us the power armor training we so desire. And then we get to wear the Enclave power armor we salvaged in the sewer, which looks absolutely beautiful. When we explore the Brotherhood's Citadel, we speak to Scribe Rothschild, who allows us access to the Brotherhood records, which is very kind of him. So we get to the terminal and Vault 87 has what we are after, so we move out. We get to Little Lamplighter, and Mayor McCready is not the most accommodating of characters, and he won't allow us access to Little Lamplighter unless we free his friends, which is fair, I guess. So we have to go back to where it all began, in Paradise Falls. We go to the mansion and we fight against Mr. Jones and his companions. We actually level up and max out our repair skill and go for intense training and up our perception to a total of 5. The slave camp attack us and we manage to beat them thanks to our decent armor. We then free the children and meet them outside and gain another level up. We distribute our skills and up our perception to a total of 6. We speak to Mayor McCready and he lets us in, which is awesome. And we explore around, talk to Mayor McCready to get the gate open to Vault 87. We also find tales of a Junktown jerky vendor. It just never escapes us, ladies and gentlemen, no matter where we go. But we get to the entrance of Vault 87, we beat up some super mutants, which is good, but our pool cue breaks, so we have to run away and go back to Rivet City to get it fixed. We also level up and put points into medicine and also grab the finesse perk, as the break can crit and that raises our critical chance by the equivalent of 5 points of luck, which is really good. After a few quarrels with the super mutants and fixing our pool cue a total of 4 times in Rivet City, we find Fawkes, who is a super mutant who can talk to us. He wants us to free him, so we go ahead and get to the end of the corridor and trip the fire alarm to open all the cell doors. It does work in our favour though, as Fawkes has a super sledge and bashes our foes in the face. Not only is it badass, but it saves on our pool cue's durability. Fawkes then heads into the reactor and comes back with the Gek, which is fantastic and very wonderful of him. Thank you, Fawkes. Since we're also in Enclave power armor, I'm sure we'll be fine as we exit Vault 87. Nothing can possibly go wrong. We then get hit by an EMP and we're kidnapped by the Enclave and Colonel Autumn. It takes priority, all in a day's work. When we're awake, Colonel Autumn demands the password to the purifier. We give him the wrong password and a unfortunate Enclave soldier puts in the code and is now dead. You'll be missed, Knuckles, rest in peace. A nefarious deed knows no bounds. Understandably, Colonel Autumn is pissed at us, but is called away by the president of the Enclave. The president is also kind enough to give our stuff back and lets us go, which is extremely kind of him. Once we leave, in true Saturday morning cartoon villain fashion, Colonel Autumn decides to retract the President's orders, but thankfully we can just run through everything with very little opposition. We get to the President and 2 sentry bots destroy the Enclave soldiers, which is marvellous. We then get to speak to the President, who is a computer, but he falls for our plan this whole time and we initiate the self-destruct sequence of the computer, because he's a potato and didn't foresee this event. With his self-destruct sequence initiated, we get the hell out of there and let the chaos ensue. Everything is firing on all pistons, and we manage to get outside, and we see a friendly super mutant with a laser Gatling gun destroying the Enclave, and it's none other than Forks. I'd love to take him, but we got to leave him be, but thank you, Forks, you are extremely cool. After all of that, we report back to the Brotherhood of Steel. Elder Lyons decides to take action and to take the fight to the Enclave. We also explain as much as we can to Elder Lyons about the Enclave in a weakened state. Sentinel Lyons of the Lions Pride steps forwards and states we've been made an honorary member of the Lions Pride. She also lets us have some power armor, which is nice, but we accept it. We don't really need it, but we accept it out of kindness. We then see the beauty that is Liberty Prime Mark 1 going up the lift, and we also level up. We get our medicine to 100, and for our perk we go for fast metabolism, so Stimpak's heal an extra 20%, which will be handy. We get to marching, being the boots on the ground, and we make our way to the Jefferson building. A lot of Enclave are trying to stop us, but Liberty Prime clears the way for us, which is simply amazing. And then when we get to the Jefferson Memorial building, Liberty Prime takes down the force field, allowing us to get inside. We take out some Enclave, and they all have plasma weapons, and we let Sentinel Lions deal some damage and charge in to finish a couple of these soldiers off. We take out a couple more in the lobby before the Purifier, and when we're there we see Colonel Autumn. He's lost the plot, and we try to convince him he's lost, but he really isn't buying it, and we decide to beat him with the pool cue. He then 5 minutes later splatters into pace, so well done Autumn, it's come full circle for you. As for his bodyguards, they just slump to the floor after several dozen hits from the pool cue. We then get the one and only Dr. Madison Lee, and she says the Purifier needs to be switched on, so we speak to Sentinel Lions and decide we should be the one to input the code, which is 216. Once we input the code, we are knocked unconscious, and Dr. Lee decides to add something as we pass out, ending the run, answering the question, can you beat Fallout 3 with the legendary pool cue, the break? And yes you can, surprisingly enough. Okay, that run was very surprising. Whilst the break isn't a bad weapon, my word, it's a fragile one and can break easily. While Ailey 7 was probably the toughest part, as we broke our pool cue 4 times going in there, and we had to head to Rivet City for repairs, but all in all, I was surprised at the lack of pool cues in Fallout 3. It's really tough finding pool cues sort of in the mid-game, but the Enclave armor saved our bacon more times than I could count. Having a lot more armor helped so much. And also this was just a really fun challenge and definitely more grounded yet interesting. And also it's always nice to just visit Fallout 3 and yeah, it's pretty cool. Anyway, thank you very much for watching. Our next challenge will be, can you beat Fallout 4 as a raider? We're only allowed raider armor and pipe weaponry. It's been heavily requested and I've got a good feeling about it and it should be hilarious. Anyway, like the video if you liked the video, comment down below. It's always amazing hearing from all of you fantastic people, and subscribe if you're new. And of course, have an excellent day. Thank you for watching. I can't thank you all enough. Have a marvelous day, a awesome time, and this is Insane Frames signing out. I'll see you in the next one, guys. Bye bye for now.